Hello, everybody. It's Chris Stevenson. You ever had one of those days where you're just in a goofy mood? Everything that comes out of your mouth is just like a smart aleck comment, and the people around you know that like you're juiced on life on that particular day. And that's a good thing because yesterday wasn't like that. Yesterday was a weird day. It was kind of this medium energy day, and it wasn't a happy day. It wasn't a sad day. It was just a work day, and it just really pushed forward, moved forward, got a lot done, stayed focused. But it wasn't a lot of emotions going on. So anyway, thanks for indulging me on that one. Listen, I'm Chris Stevenson, and I'm the owner and broker of Legendary Real Estate Services. And I want to make this video for my customers and clients that we service, the people that we're marketing to educate and to help everybody gain a better, deeper understanding for the dynamics that we're seeing in the marketplace, which are critically unusual. And today I'm going to pull back the curtain behind the numbers regarding the listings, regarding the property sales, and really everything that you need to know if you're a potential buyer or seller in the market. So I wanted to start this off by saying, number one, thank you for allowing us to have you on our newsletter. We try to make it as great as possible. We handwrite the content, we make our own videos, and we really try to talk about what the market is on ground zero in real life so that you understand what's going on in the market. So quick temperature. Yes, listings are still moving very quickly. You're going to see some inventory numbers of listings in the marketplace that are almost beyond comprehension with where we stand compared to this time last year, and why it is so doggone hard for buyers to be able to find a property and be able to purchase a property without competing with 4, 5, 6 other offers. There's some buyer fatigue going on out there right now. Anytime you're a buyer and you've been competing at this level, if you've had the stamina to do it, for 6 or 7, 8 months, you're pretty beat up. And you may just be saying, you know what, let's just keep doing what we're doing for another 12 months and see where this rocket ship goes. And maybe we'll just postpone the purchase until we have a little more clarity on our jobs, on housing prices, on interest rates and things like that, because all of it is on the move. All of it's on the move. Very dynamic, very unusual time in the market. And I've been in it since 1990. And I can tell you that this is one of the most almost easy to see, but hard to predict type of markets you could ever imagine of what the future is going to hold. So let's get right into it. I'm going to bring you to 2 different pieces of information. One comes out from the Wisconsin Realtor Association, which is our state Realtor Association organization. I've been a board of that organization for 10 of the last 11 years. And this Friday, I'm actually applying to be on the executive committee to potentially become a treasurer, chairman-elect, and chairman of the Wisconsin Realtor Association. I love that group. They're the best professionals statewide in the industry, and honestly, one of the best state associations in the country. And I say that for a ton of reasons, none of which I'm going to go into here right now, but all of which, trust me, there's some great committed real estate professionals in that organization. Okay, we're going to dive right in, and we are going to jump to, I think, one of the more important pieces of information that I have shown in quite a while, and this is actually going to come from the WRA themselves. And this is the data. I want to show you statewide, just something really quick here. You might think, Chris, what in the hell does statewide have to do with me? Simply because I want to let you know that Walworth County, where I work primarily, I also work Kenosha, Racine, Waukesha, Milwaukee, and so on. But Walworth County is a reflection of the state right now. In the state, February to February, year over year, 20 versus 21, pre-pandemic, we had 3.6 months of inventory versus now at 2.1. That's a nearly 42% reduction in housing inventory. You think it was a tough time for a buyer last year? This year, all bets are off. Those are crazy numbers. And, I just want to speak to that for a second, because what you're going to also hear me say today is the rate of inventory coming on the market for a spring market being almost through the month of March at this point, which is the ideal month to put your property on the market. The rate of inventory coming on is way below last year. and the sales are slightly above last year already. So we've got the worst of both worlds happening when it comes to supply and demand. If you're a seller, you're in the driver's seat, but buyers are getting fatigued, and we're seeing with the nice weather, demand slip a little bit. So with that, I'm going to jump actually to some information down here, and we're going to take a look specifically at Walworth, Kenosha, and Racine counties because they are so close to each other. So first of all, let's take a look at Walworth County. And Walworth County being right here, February of 2020's median price was $260,000 for this year. It's a 3% increase, right, year over year. And the sales are up for February from 103 to 115 as well. So prices ticking up some, sales ticking up a little bit. You might think sales would soften because we don't have the homes to sell, but buyers are still buying. Here's the biggie. This is why we reflect the state. The percent change of our inventory year over year went from 4.4% to 2.6%. That's a 41% drop. All right. When your inventory almost goes in half and your sales are outpacing the prior year, that's not a great combination. That's a combination that could make buyers put the stop button on and just decide to wait a year or two or three until this situation works itself out. Last thing I want to quick show you, just because it's out here and I think it's important, is for Walworth County, the average days on the market dropped 30% from 135 to 94. And that is an indication of our shortage of inventory. There's just less to buy. People are compromising more, saying, you know what, it doesn't have this, it doesn't have that, but I'm going to buy it. And so similar in Racine, median price stayed about the same. The sales rate was up 38%, and their inventory was down by 40% from 3.2 months to 1.9. And then Kenosha, their median price jumped by 23% from 174.5 to 215. Their sales went up 14.5%, 137 to 157. Their months of inventory went down from 2.9, just above where we are right now, down to 1.7. Now, to give you a little bit of basis of this, parity for listings to buyers is 6 months of inventory, right? This is 1.7 in Kenosha, 1.9 in Racine, and 2.6 in Walworth County. Okay? So if that gives you any context of the insanity of our marketplace right now, and these kinds of extremes never last, folks. So what you have to decide for yourself is, when do I buy? When do I sell? How long do I wait? Do I play the market top? Because in real estate, if you catch the downside of a trend, they typically do go down for months and sometimes years. And even if it's slow or not appreciating, you're still in a good seat, but there's just not going to be the demand. If a glut of inventory comes on the market and or interest rates spike higher, there's just no more appreciation. Hopefully the buyer demand stays solid, because ultimately at the end of the day, you need buyers. So anyway, that was all I wanted to show you here. I'm going to jump to the Wisconsin Realtor Association website. And I wanted to jump over here, two reasons. Number one, you have full access to this as the general public. This is WRA.org, O-R-G, Wisconsin Realtor Association.org. And all you do is you go to resources, you go down here to property data, you click on housing statistics, right? And it takes you to, why would it take you to the government affairs page? Let's go to housing statistics. And here we go. Okay. Statewide, we want to go to the Southeast region. And from Southeast region, we want to actually go to Walworth County. And you have full access to this. This is not, I'm not logged in. This is the front of their website. All right. So what I want to take a look at initially, the number of home sales. And you can see by month, right? In fact, I'm going to reduce this slightly. See by month. Here we go. Okay. Here is October, November, December. You can see of last year. It hit a peak of 255 in a month, 242, 39, 41, 173, 104 in January. People might say, wow, that's a huge drop. Yeah, it's a big drop, but we're in the dead of winter at that point. But it was still 104, which you can see is the highest month ever for a January. And then 115 in February is the highest month ever for a February. That's the kind of stuff we're dealing with right now. We're just dealing with crazy extremes, right? Everything. And then median price, we're going to take a look at median price. Here was the big one for last year. 273, one of the highest, and then 272, and then 274 in November. Then 260,000 in December. January this year, so few listings on the market, jumped to 287, highest median price for a month in the history of Walworth County, and then dropped back to 260. So we're dealing with some pretty high numbers. Here's what I want you to look at. Like, take a look at the peak of 2007. 210,000 was the peak. You know, you just add on 13 years and you went to 274,000. You know, there was a time right in here in 2016, 17, where we thought, man, are we ever going to get back to 2007 prices? You know, right about here in 2017. And then, of course, you see 2018 broke through that, right? And then, you know, just 19, 20, and now 21. It's crazyville. So what I'm going to do here, these are some trend lines, and it's really kind of nice to kind of get the guts of this thing out of the way, meaning the years in between the extremes. 2007, 2008 was an extreme. The last 4 years have been an extreme. So let's do this just to make the graphs much, much clearer to read. Here's the current value. This is the current year for 2020, and then January, February of 2021. Here is 2007 at the peak. Now this is median prices. Here's your 2007 peak, trend line, I should say. And here's 2020 and 21, right? And you can see, of course, last year, right, was building to that. Here was April, not a lot going on, pandemic. May, it kicked up. Then all of a sudden, you know, there was a quick lull. And then things got, this is saying November 2020, because that's the timeline down here. Somebody just asked me that. But this is actually the prior year. Here is last year. Here is last year. This would be 2019, actually. This is 2020. And so you can just see after this lull in April with COVID being announced, what started happening right in here is when it really all broke loose. And then you had a peak, right? So that's the price, median prices. When we talk about extreme, we're talking about extreme because we have no inventory and sales are faster than ever. And builders are not building them fast enough. There's not enough platted and approved land. There's not enough builders in existence. We're in a world of hurt when it comes to housing and affordable housing. Here's a number of sales comparison for the exact same years. You can just simply see where the current value is. I mean, you know, you had last year, the April-May dip in the amount of units. You take a look, 117 for an April is pretty low. And then it just broke loose. Like it's been the highest ever since for number of units. And remember, we have fewer homes than ever with more demand. And then the median price. This one I am going to blow up because this is so much easier to see when you can see it all. Oh, that could have been a bit much, huh? Not bad. Okay. I'm going to take it back one. That's really quick. Okay. So here's the median price. You know, you can see 2021. Oops. 20, and here's February, right? But you can see last year. Last year it was the highest before this year. Highest, slightly outpaced by the prior. Highest in every single month. Extremes. And then finally, the number of sales. And number of sales, you know, 2007 is represented by the blue line here. Those were peak sales. So not so much the case right now. And then we're getting into 2021. Here's 2020. 2020 is a highlight. You see them kind of overshadow themselves. It's so interesting to see just how extreme those really were. And gosh, I hesitate to say that, we're going to see those even get beat this year, but man, it's a distinct possibility, the number of sales. The one thing that's going to hold it back potentially is the amount of homes that come on the market. If you ever wanted to get the most amount of money for your home in the shortest period of time, and if your home needs updating, like just do the cosmetic updating. Like what you typically do as investors do and homeowners do is you prep your house by decluttering and doing the least amount of cost for the most amount of impact. And like we're experts at that. I've not only done it for myself in investment properties and other homes, but also for every single home I go into, for the consumer, when I'm thinking about, we're looking at listing the property, that kind of advice is invaluable. You can literally spend $5,000 and make an additional $25,000, or not cost yourself an additional $25,000. So this is a time where you can maximize price. I will tell you the things on the horizon that scare me a little bit. What scares me a little bit is the substantial lack of inventory and people who own homes that have refinanced, that are staying put when they otherwise would have sold. In many cases, they would have sold statistically 5, 10, 15 years ago, and they haven't. There's some definite decisions being made by people out there that is creating a new trend line. And the other thing is this, the average months of inventory, which is reflective of that being, 1.9 to 2.6 months of inventory, is vastly below what we need. Buyer fatigue is happening. So in certain price ranges, especially the competitive ones, you're going to get buyers that are going to bow out. So there's a lot of things to consider on the buying end as well as interest rates. A lot of people don't think interest rate makes an impact, but on my Facebook page, I did a post about 3 weeks ago, and it was talking about, how much a 1% difference makes in the type of home people can finance and afford. And a lot of people are maxing themselves out now because the rates are so low, they can afford more house, which is why the higher price ranges are selling. But, 0.5% to 1.5% up in interest rate can make a substantial impact to a lot of people. And, especially in that $200,000 to $300,000 price range. So look, you got to make decisions. Do you buy? Do you sit on the sidelines? Do you sell? Do you sit on the sidelines? I guess I would say this if it was me. If I was a seller right now, I would seriously look at taking my equity and putting it in an ulterior investment. And until I made a firm decision of either what I wanted to buy up here or relocate if I was moving south, I would put that money in a place where I could go make an offer on something that would be a cash offer, not contingent on anything. And you would be able to, pretty much have pick of the litter in any other location. You got to be first. You got to be in the door quick. That's the key up here with showings too. Lake property comes on the market. You got to get up here. You got to see it. You got to FaceTime it. You got to do something to be able to get in there. It's nuts. So that is the video. Please know, if you need any of these references, if you want any of this information emailed to you, links emailed to you, reach out to me and let me know. My direct line is 262-745-2096. That's my cell phone. And I'd be happy to connect with you and be able to answer any questions you have or help you or any member of your family or friends through any kind of real estate transaction that they might be considering. It is more important than ever that you have serious experience on your side in this market to navigate it and to ensure that whether you're buying or whether you're selling, that you understand how to maximize not only your price, but also be able to maximize what that next step is that you're planning on doing to position yourself properly for it, because that's what's holding a lot of sellers back from listing their property. They got nowhere to go. They don't know what to buy. They don't know what they're going to do. There are options out there. You just need to talk it through with somebody who knows the market. So with that, this is a long video. Thank you so much for hanging in there for the whole thing. Like me on Facebook, friend me on Facebook, like our Facebook page, Legendary Real Estate Services. We have a YouTube channel as well. Subscribe to that. That's where I post these videos once they clear our newsletter. And I hope to talk to you very, very soon. If anything changes in the marketplace, you're going to be the first to know. That I promise you. All right. Thanks for being here. I really appreciate you. Take care.